Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/spookshow. Then go over to morbidlybeautiful.com as we are now part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcasting Network.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You'll float too! You'll float too! You'll too!
Everybody here dies by dawn. Dead by dawn!
Welcome to the Spookshow. Hello, welcome back to the All-American Spookshow podcast. And this entire month, we're celebrating 40 years of 1986. That's right, not necessarily like the actual anniversary of the release of the particular movie, just that all these movies came out in 1986. And guess what? That was 40 years ago, according to our calendars. So we can do a little bit of math here. Why do we do
as
this?
long as it's an even number year? Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have to pull out extra toes or fingers or anything.
That's right.
Why 1986? Well, why not, right? But it was a really good year. We've done a handful of those movies here on the podcast in the past. So that kind of pared down our list a little bit. But we came up with a pretty thick list of movies to choose from. And we're all choosing one throughout this entire month leading into the month of May. But last week I picked Demons 2. This week it was Donnie's turn. So Donnie, all I'm going to say is you picked another sequel, which sequels were definitely a thing by 86, right? Like everything's like spitting out part 2, part 3, part 4 by this point. Sequels were a huge fucking thing throughout the 80s. 86 is no different. So Donnie, what'd you pick?
Yeah, so I picked Aliens, the James Cameron sequel. I guess James Cameron directed.
This is hilarious, and I don't know how true this is, but it sounds like it's true. The reason that they called this Aliens is because when James Cameron has like a production meeting or something when they're first doing this, he writes on the board Alien and then a $sign for the S at the end of it. Like, this is going to make millions of dollars, that kind of thing. So so in some rumors or whatever that like they just decided to call it Aliens based on that he wrote that $sign S on the instead of going with Alien 2, which is
and it makes sense, of course, in the way that the first movie is really only one alien, unless you count the egg that whatever, but one alien. So this one has multiple aliens.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that way too. Right?
Yeah. It works in many ways. Yeah, Donnie, I think this is another great pull. One could argue, and I'm sure we will debate it and talk about it here throughout this episode today, that this might be one of the best sequels ever to just about anything, right? Because there are some people, and I guess we'll discuss it, that contend that this is better than the original. I don't find myself in that crowd, but I can see it.
Yeah.
I kind of like the first one and second one kind of equally, but the first one is more atmospheric, more creepy.
That's a good way to put it.
And all that. Yeah.
The
second one is pure action. Like,
to me,
as
it
soon
always
as they
boils
go
down.
up there, it's like boom, boom, boom.
To me, it's like this, and I think we talked about this when we talked about the first movie, a year or two ago, however long it's been. I've never really felt like these are horror movies. I know they're classified as horror, and to me, this is just my opinion, they've always felt more like sci-fi movies with horror elements in them, to me.
I can see that.
Than it is pure horror with sci-fi. That's just my opinion. But either way, I think you get a big fat dose of both, so it doesn't matter. But this one, to me, feels more like a sci-fi movie than the first one did. The first one felt more horror. Like you said, the atmosphere and everything.
Yeah, because the atmosphere.
Than this one.
And it was claustrophobic because it's pretty much all takes place on the ship, with the creature stalking them in slasher mode, basically,
I mean, you do get, and we'll talk about it a lot here, that you do get that claustrophobic feel in this one too, but there's still that feeling of like, oh shit, they can get out of there and then they're in the open air.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, where that one's just on a ship and you ain't going nowhere but the vacuum of space. So, the whole in space, no one can hear you scream, that whole bit, there you go. Some of the background I can find, the only other than there's always like weird translations of titles and stuff that we run through. The only other title that I really saw for this was Alien 2. It premiered July 14th of 1986 in Westwood, California. That's where they had their premiere. But it was released proper wide 4 days later on July 18th of 1986. It was produced by Brandywine Productions, which I believe had done the first one too, I believe, or at least was established some time afterwards. And it was distributed by 20th Century Fox, who also, did the first one. Of course, this movie's rated R. Total runtime of 2 hours and 17 minutes, so definitely a lot longer than our usual fare here on the show, right? On IMDb, it's listed as an action, adventure, horror, sci-fi. And to me, that's kind of the proper order. I mean, if you're ranking the elements, that's about right to me, I might put sci-fi above all of it, but
horror, yeah, true. Or in front of all,
yeah, whatever. If you're actually ranking the positions of these tags, whatever, right? This was filmed in the famous Pinewood Studios there, outside of London in the UK, from September 30th through December 14th of 1985, for a budget of $18.5 million, and it went on to a worldwide gross of roughly $131 million. And I say roughly because you do see some other estimates that had it a little higher. One of the places that I saw it had it at it gave kind of like a roundabout estimate of 131.1 to 183.3 million. So, like we always say, somewhere in the middle usually lies the truth, right? It's probably somewhere around 150 million, give or take. But regardless, it was one of the highest grossing movies in the U.S. box office that year of 1986. But more in particular, when we have it, we love to go through it. I've got the top 10 in the box office from the weekend that it came out. So this is the tops in the U.S. box office from July 18th through the 20th of 1986. And I'm going to go all the way to the bottom because it actually gives us the top 14. And I just feel like it's necessary to talk about number 14 because it's one of our favorites. It was a Cannon film, a Cannon movie. Came out the exact same day as Aliens. This was one that we did a couple years ago, and it was Pirates. That Walter Matthau.
I thought you were going to say something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from Pirates.
No, we're not that high up on the board. We're at arguably the lowest rated cannon fodder movie that we've ever done. Pirates.
Ooh, I don't know.
That means at the there's some competition there, but that's saying something. That the same day that Sigourney Weaver comes back as Ripley in Aliens, one of the greatest sequels of all time, you get one of the shittiest pirate movies you've ever seen in your life, starring Walter Matthau as Captain Jack Sparrow's granddad or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. Also that weekend at number 13 in its third week was Psycho 3. But we'll jump up to, actually, I'll go ahead and just give you the rest because number 12 is a Disney animated movie, The Great Mouse Detective. It was in its third week. Also, in its opening weekend, at number 11 was another horror movie, which could have easily made this 1986 list, but we didn't do it, and that was Vamp. It came out the same day as Aliens.
That's a movie I haven't seen in a long time, Vamp.
Yeah, same here. So, that would have been an interesting pull for 86, but nobody picked it. I'll just tell you that right now. So, eventually, we'll get around to it. When we do Son of 1986 or Return of 1986. Number 10 was Club Paradise. Number 9, Running Scared. I think that was Richard Pryor, right?
Which one? Running Scared? Scared? No, I think that was
that?
Anthony Hines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gregory Hines.
Okay.
And Billy Crystal. Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, right?
Okay, I don't know what I was thinking then. Yeah, I was way off on that one. Number 8, Legal Eagles. Number 7 in its 6th week, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller. Number 6, About Last Night. Number 5, in its 10th week, and I'm pretty sure this was the top grossing movie of the entire year of 1986, Top Gun was still playing pretty high. It was number 5, and it's in its 10th week. Number 4, the Rodney Dangerfield classic, Back to School.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fun one.
Which I think it also was one of the top grossing movies of 1986 as well. And it was in its 6th week at this time. Number 3, Ruthless People. Number 2, another classic, The Karate Kid Part 2. It was in its 5th week. And then, opening up at number 1, Aliens. It made just over $10 million. And in its opening weekend. Now, this was the beginning of a streak for Aliens. This was the first of 4 straight weeks that it was number 1. It didn't get knocked off. I think it got knocked down to number 3 for basically a solid month until August 15th when The Fly came out. So Aliens was number 1 for a month, and then The Fly comes
That's another
along.
one we've done.
Yep. That's another one from 1986. That
Yeah, 86. We've done quite I don't know how many. I don't know what the count is. We've already done a lot of 86 because it's such a big year for horror.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't compiled the list yet of all the ones that we've done from 86. We need to do that. We'll go through it at some point this month. But yeah, that was another one that we've done. So surprisingly, like there was nothing there that we have picked that's coming up that was on that list. So I guess it's at different times of the year. So we're not quite at 40 years technically that this movie came out, but we're getting there, right? Pretty damn close. But of those movies that I just mentioned there, Smoke, what do you think you went and saw that weekend? Top Gun, Back to School, Karate Kid?
Well, I can tell you, I did not that I wouldn't have seen it, but I did not see Back to School in the theater. I mean, I would have, but I didn't. There's so many movies.
Like I love that. I love that movie, but yeah, with that list of movies, I'm like, I don't know if that would have been the one.
Yeah. I mean, what was I seeing at that point? I don't know. I know I definitely saw. I'll put it this way: I saw I saw Top Gun in the theater. I saw what were some of those other big titles?
Karate Kid Part 2.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater.
Let's see, Ferris Bueller. Did you see that?
Yep.
The great.
No, I didn't see Ruthless People in the theater. I like that movie. But I didn't see Club Paradise. Wait, Club Paradise is the Robin Williams movie, or no? Or am I thinking something different?
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's another one of those like comedy type of things. I think, right?
I think it's the Robin Williams.
You probably wouldn't have saw The Great Mouse Detective. Let's face it.
That's it. That was it. Yeah.
or the Insanity of Psycho 3. You might have seen that.
No, unfortunately, I didn't see that in the theater. But I mean, I do like that one. I think that's kind of underrated movie in the series. I mean, I don't like it better than the first one or anything, but I mean, it doesn't get enough love. I don't think.
And a lot of these movies, I mean, obviously, you're also in the heart of summer blockbuster season here. I mean, you're in the middle of July. So all the kids are out of school.
Yeah.
You know, college and otherwise. So I mean, like these movies, huge, just killing it, right? And Aliens comes along, and I think it actually kind of surpassed expectations a little bit. Believe it or not. By the way, and we'll get. I guess we can get into it a little bit here. This movie was. They had a lot of trouble getting this movie off the ground and even getting it made and everything. I don't know how much y'all read into that or maybe watched something or anything like that, but I mean, obviously, the first movie comes out. What was that? 1979. Yeah, when the original Alien came out in 1979. Yeah. So, like, this is 7 years later. You would think they would have wanted to capitalize on the success of that first one sooner than they did, but apparently it just got caught up in development hell. A number of different people at the helm. Apparently, Fox Studios was going through a lot of bullshit at the time too, where like they had different leadership, where some of them were all on board of making it, and then they would get tossed out, and then another group would come in and say they just don't see the viability of it. So it multiple times over the years this happened. Basically, from what I read, if you just kind of distill it down into what really eventually got this thing made, was the fact that James Cameron did like a treatment of it, basically based on the idea. The studio executives only told him one thing: we want it to be about Ripley and soldiers. Like make a sequel out of that. Ripley and some soldiers. Go. So like he made some kind of like brief treatment. Enough people liked it. But it still didn't. That's still not really what got it made. It sounds like basically the success of the Terminator is what got it made, and the fact that James Cameron. And I completely forgot that he had anything to do with it. James Cameron was one of the writers on Rambo: First Blood Part 2. So between the Terminator, Rambo 2, this is the guy that did it, and really up to this point, James Cameron hadn't really done anything. You know, before the Terminator, I think the only other thing of note was Piranha 2.
Yeah, because he directed that, right? Yeah. That was one of his earlier ones.
Yeah, it's like, I think it was, if it's not his first, it's one of his first.
Yeah.
He had done, what was it called? Piranha 2, The Awakening, or what the hell was it? Some kind of silly ass name. The Spawning. Piranha 2, The Spawning. He had done that. So, like, a lot of people were still like, I don't know if we should be giving this thing, this big franchise to this guy, this dude that did Piranha. But then the Terminator comes out, the success of Rambo, and he had something to do with it, so he got it. And then there were a lot of other conditions and all this shit, but like apparently it was a mess. Even when they're making it, it was messy. Like apparently he didn't get along with because they did it in the UK at Pinewood Studios. James Cameron didn't get along with the UK guys. Apparently the UK guys were shitting on him every time he tried. I want to do it this way, and they're like, yeah, whatever. But then they would end up doing it anyways. So there was a lot of fighting. I love one of the quotes. I should have wrote it down, but there was one of the quotes when basically they had the rap party where James Cameron stood up and gave like a big speech to everybody. And he's like, basically, I'm glad this is over and I'm happy that you guys have to stay here and I can leave. So he's just like, fuck all y'all on the way out. But like, it was apparently he had a lot of problems, including also in the casting, Michael, how do you say his name? The guy that played Hicks, Michael Biehn? Michael Biehn, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
He was not originally Hicks. They started filming this movie with James Remar as Hicks. It was him. I mean, they got to the point where they were filming it and everything. Matter of fact, to the point where some of Remar's, I guess, like behind his headshots and stuff, he's still in the movie. They just kept those scenes in, but you can't tell it's him, kind of thing. But he's wearing the same armor. They just basically took the armor off Remar and put it on him. And then because they had to recast him, apparently at the time, the rumor was there was some creative difference type of shit. Well, no, apparently it was he got arrested for drug possession. So so he got fired, and then they just popped Michael Biehn in there, which I mean I think was a great choice, right? But yeah, there's another version of this movie out there with James Remar as the only other one. Now, by the way, I should say this is a spoiler-filled podcast, so from here forward we are going to spoil the shit out of it. But yeah, Hicks survives, right? He's the only other one, basically, right? So that should have been James Remar, I guess.
Yeah,
So
but luckily Michael Biehn came in from the future, and he in his bubble popped up inside the.
And I'm sure that had something to do with it too, right? That they had worked together on the Terminator, because there's a number of people that worked, and we'll get into that. But yeah, this movie won 2 Oscars. It was actually nominated for 7 Oscars, including Best Score and Best Actress. Sigourney Weaver got nominated for Best Actress, but didn't win it. But even that was a big deal back then because sci-fi movies didn't get, Best Actress nominees.
Yeah.
So even that was just a big, for her to be nominated was a big fucking deal. But it actually won 2 Oscars, and surprisingly, it was for Best Sound Effects for Don Sharp, and it was Best Visual Effects from Stan Winston and his team. So surprise, surprise. But yeah, they did win 2 Oscars for this one. It was directed, the story was written by, and the screenplay was by James Cameron, who nowadays would be famous for a little film called Avatar, or that whole franchise. The first 2 Terminator movies, because, as big as the first one was, the second one was even bigger, right? He did that. I think it's a race between Avatar and Titanic, just about every other year, maybe one of those Avengers movies for like the highest grossing. I think it's Avengers Endgame, I think. For the highest grossing movies of all time, James Cameron had 2 of them. 2 of those, because it kind of all go back and forth between Titanic and Avatar, right? He also did one of our favorite, one that I know it's all of one of our favorites, but we haven't done it on the show here, and that was The Abyss. That's another one we got to get around to. And of course, like I mentioned a minute ago, he did Piranha 2: The Spawning. The story was also written by David Giller, who worked on the entire Alien franchise pretty much. He also was pretty much Johnny Tales from the Crypt. Like that dude had, I'm talking like almost every episode, every movie, just about anything that had to do with Tales from the Crypt. He had his fingerprints on it. He also wrote that Tom Hanks movie, The Money Pit.
Oh, that movie is freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Unfortunately, David Giller passed away back in 2020 at the age of 77. The story was also written by Walter Hill, who's pretty damn good in his own rights, right? Like as far as like the stuff that he's done throughout his career, including other stuff in the Alien franchise, but also a little movie that we liked over on Cult Corner called The Warriors.
Yeah. And another personal favorite of mine that I don't think we've done it on Cult Corner yet, but Southern Comfort.
Yeah. There was a couple of people that worked on Southern Comfort that had something to do with this one that were connected. He wasn't the only one. But yeah, he also did 48 Hours. He did that, which I think this is a kind of a somewhat underrated late 90s flick, Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. That movie was awesome. He's done tons of other like great action flicks though. So Walter Hill, he's just an action dude, right? The movie stars Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, who, other than the Alien franchise, what would you think? Probably the first two Ghostbusters movies. Well, I guess she appears in one or two other ones, right? I think she pops up in there. Those more recent ones. I think she's in there.
Yeah.
At least briefly. But she's definitely in the first two Ghostbusters movies. And then, of course, she plays a big part in the Avatar movies as well.
Yeah.
Although, for the most part, she turns into a CGI creature. But she's still in it. She's been in tons of other stuff. But those are the big ones, right? If you're thinking of Sigourney Weaver, you think of Alien, Ghostbusters, and Avatar. The total opposite of that is the little girl that played Newt, Carrie Henn. She was the only other thing she was ever in was 6 years ago in something called Thunder Island. That's it. She never was in anything else. I don't know the exact reasons why. Apparently she wasn't even she really wasn't an actress here. Like apparently that somebody just saw her or she auditioned or something and they liked her look. And they just went with it. She wasn't even like a trained actress or anything. She'd never had any experience doing anything and then did this and never did anything again. So it's kind of weird until 2020. So Carrie Henn, that was Newt. Michael Biehn, we just talked about him as Hicks. He was also in The Terminator, The Abyss. He played Johnny Ringo in Tombstone. Paul Reiser as Burke. He was in the first two Beverly Hills Cop movies. But he's probably better known as a TV guy, right? Because he was in that series back in the 80s, My Two Dads. And then in the 90s and early 2000s, he was in like 1,000 episodes of that show, Mad About You.
That's a conservative estimate, 1,000.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, it seemed like it played forever.
I know. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it wasn't that many, but it seems
it was
like
probably like 200, but it felt like it's 2,000, yeah. That was just like the show that apparently everybody loved, but I never really could get into it. It was one of those kind of shows for me.
Yeah, never.
It just exists. It's there.
Yeah.
And it played for a long time, so whatever. Lance Henriksen. He's another, I'm sure his name will come back up in some connections, Donnie. I'm probably giving everything away here for Donnie when with his Crip connections later. Lance Henriksen is Bishop. He also appears in Alien versus Predator, which like when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah. Cause it's been forever since I've seen those two damn like,
I only saw them
like kind of over here.
Yeah.
But I forgot about that. But yeah, he plays a fairly major part in that, considering, but, he's in Alien versus Predator. He's in Damien Omen 2. Ironically, or I guess unironically considering, he's in Piranha 2, The Spawning as well. And he was also in The Terminator, of course, and one of Donnie's favorites, Hellraiser Hellworld. Lance Henriksen. The only thing that made that movie worth the 1 star that we probably all gave it. Lance Henriksen.
Yep.
I
heard that. I was reading that he was pretty much going to hang up his acting if this movie didn't take off for him, and of course it did. So.
Well, we're fortunate that it did. Then I guess.
Yes.
He's still acting to this day.
Yeah, to this very day, he's still very active. He's still in stuff. I read somewhere too, like he was kind of hesitant to take this because Ian Holm had done the android part in the first Alien, and then Rutger Hauer in
and Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. They had done that type of thing, that android thing, so well that he's like, yeah, I don't know if I can hang with that. But he decided to do it anyways, and the rest is history. But the only other there's a few good names here, but the only other name I wrote down notes for was a little actor known as Bill Paxton as Hudson. He was basically the comic relief in this movie. He was in a flick called Twister. I don't know if either of you have ever heard of it. He was also in another one of Smoke's favorites, Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker.
Oh yeah, that goes by a good different. I forget the other title for that one. Nightmare something.
Not long after that, he was in another movie called Mortuary. He's in that.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he's in the first Terminator, like just about every damn body else I've mentioned here. And one of Donnie's favorites, Weird Science.
Oh yeah, straight up now. Tell me.
That's not one of those ironic favorites. That's
Yeah.
and I think that was another note that I saw, that like that movie was one of the reasons that he got this one too, because like they liked him so well, and like he was funny in that and everything. I guess as a giant turd, he was good. He was good in that. So they're like, yeah, I think he'll be good for this part of kind of like the comic relief, the levity in these horrible situations. So Bill Paxton, there you go. And I think they said this is also where Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen had first met, then became close friends. You know, I guess through
Near Dark.
Near Dark when they were in that. That was the year after this one.
Yeah, there you go. Which is another one we did back. I think that was in the Sucky Summer. I think we did that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Near Dark. There you go. That's
You're
all.
stewed, buttwad.
That's Bill Paxton's known for like those type of like
one-liners.
Yeah, like maybe
or
it's just
I guess you call it.
Maybe it's just his delivery with these random, like in this one, like game over, man. You know, like
that's it. We're just
it's so throwaway, but it just sticks with you.
Yeah.
Like you just fucking remember it for. But yeah, there you go. That's all I had as far as the background. Should anybody else have anything before we dive into it? I know that was a lot.
Oh, did you mention the score is James Horner?
No, I did not. Yeah, but that's a good pull. Yeah,
and that also I feel like we've talked about this some other place, but the fact that because it's such an iconic score from him, like you hear some of this in other movies, or let me put it this way, you hear a track that was in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan in this movie, because Star Trek II was 1982 or whatever, I believe. So yeah, I hear some of that same music, because I mean a lot of composers would do this. They take a piece that was very dramatic in a certain movie, and if it works in another movie, they might use it in that one too. So that was the case, because James Horner did the score to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan as well, and I definitely hear cues from that movie in here.
There was something that I saw in some of the notes or whatever, the background about like how this all came together, and some of the changes and some of the improvisation and this and that, and some of the problems they were having at Pinewood Studios and all that shit actually affected him as well, and like his ability to score it the way he wanted to score, or I guess the way he would have done it or something. Yeah. I don't know to what degree, but it led to a lot of difficulties. But it still ended up great, and he got an Oscar nomination for it, which he didn't win. I didn't look to see who beat him, but he didn't win it. But yeah, I mean, so it all worked out in the end, but apparently it was a pain in the ass. That's everything that I can gather from this. Is like the making of this movie was a gigantic pain in the ass for for just about everyone involved. But it turned out
everyone involved.
Yeah, it turned out great. So sometimes it happens that way. We start the movie with Ripley waking up 57 years after the first movie.
Before you go any further than this, what was the version that everybody watched? I can tell you the version we watched was the regular theatrical version.
I think it was. I'm not dead sure. Like what I watched was like the 4K digital, not like the actual 4K disc, but like the digital 4K version of it that I had bought. Okay. Some I don't even know how the hell it happened, but I own it. And
that's what we watched too.
So I think it was 2 hours and 17 minutes. I know that. So
I'm pretty sure that's the theatrical.
I don't
that's
know
what you watched too, Don?
Yeah, I watched the it was the extended version. And
you watched the extended version?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like it was up there.
Yeah, well, I know. I'll put it this way: if you remember, the one way I can remember it, because I don't remember all the different scenes in the extended versus the theatrical, but if you saw a part that had Newt and her family early in the movie before Ripley gets to the planet, then you saw the extended cut. Otherwise, you probably saw the theatrical one.
No,
you remember stuff about Newt?
I recall that.
Yeah. Okay, so that was. Yeah. We watched the other one that didn't have all that extra stuff.
Her dad and. That
was part of the
stuff. Go out in the vehicle.
That was all part of the stuff that got cut out. Like I didn't see any of that.
You didn't see that part, yeah. So then you watched the theatrical version. Donnie watched the extended cut, and we watched the theatrical version. Now, I can't compare the two because the only scenes I remember different are those. Even though I think it was about a good 15 or 20 minutes more in that extended cut, I remember the stuff with Newt and her family on LV 246. Is that the name of it? Whatever the planet was that they were on.
The colony. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
colony thing. Yeah. I remember that being in that extended cut, but I don't remember all the other various different things that are different between the two. So I won't be able to really break those down.
That's probably a good time to mention too, that apparently there is some controversy with this 4K version that came out a couple years ago. I'm not sure who's responsible for it, whether it's Disney, because it was 2 years ago. So that's Fox owned Disney. So I don't know if it was them or James Cameron or both or neither. I don't know who, but apparently the 4K release had AI clean it up, so to speak. Like they used AI to kind of smooth out some of the visuals, so then you get that kind of weird. It almost enters uncanny valley look.
Yeah.
To people.
Well, I remember we didn't read about that or know about that, but I remember off air, so to speak, when we were talking about this and you mentioned that, I remember in my head thinking, this looks. We don't use that, and you get the comb filter or whatever it is that you have to turn on your TV or whatever to get that soap opera effect they call from the 4K, which gives most people tend to think of that as 4K, tend to think of what I call the soap opera effect or that comb filter as being sort of the ultimate look for 4K, but I don't like that look, so I usually don't have that turned on, even when we watch 4K discs. But I remember thinking in my head that this kind of looks like I have that turned on. It kind of had that soap opera effect, and it's probably like it might be that AI cleaning it up, like you're saying, giving it the more unnatural. I mean, technically, it might be a more natural look, but everybody's eye has been used to film, and film has a certain frame rate and speed and things where motion might not be realistic, but your eye sees it as a movie, as film motion.
Yeah.
For me, anyways. And when I see that soap opera effect, I don't like it. It's unnatural to me, even if the natural eye doesn't pick up that blurring like a film does.
And I didn't know that either until I read that, and then I told y'all about it. But like, I wasn't aware of that when I was watching it. But as I was watching it, I was thinking like, this looks. I don't know how to put my finger on it. It looks off. It looks a little odd. Then when I read that, I'm like, oh, that must be what it was. Then it kind of, it's not that once again, it's not like, I don't think it would detract from your viewing experience in my mind, unless you knew it. If you knew that going in, like, I guess we've just let the can of worms open there by telling everybody that. But if you watch that, you're probably going to notice it now that we've told you. But if we hadn't told you that, you might be like us and kind of like have it in the back of your mind, like, this looks kind of odd, but whatever.
It just, to me, looks like that soap opera effect that I don't like, but I don't have that comb filter turned on, so I shouldn't be seeing that soap opera effect, so I don't like it. I don't like it.
Why does my movie look like shit? I don't like this. But I guess for those reasons, you know how people get about stuff like that, there's some controversy surrounding it, but...
well, now the other thing about it is the extended cut on that disc is not 4K. It's on the Blu-ray part of the disc, I believe. Well, I have to look it up again. When you started playing it, it didn't give you the option, did it? Did it give you the option of choosing into 4K? It just had the one option on it? I think that's what it was. Pretty sure that's what it is. In that case, then I might like the extended cut better. We didn't watch it because we wanted to see the 4K version. That's why we went with the theatrical.
Yeah. But
now maybe I would prefer the extended cut that doesn't have that. I mean, now whether or not they use AI to clean up the extended cut too, I don't know.
You probably have to go I guess if you want to avoid all that shit, you'd have to go track down whatever the last Blu-ray release was before.
Yeah, before it became...
Yeah, before 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, whatever. But as far as I can tell, that's the only 4K release that got... I don't begin to know all these different... Sometimes there's 100 different releases.
That's definitely beyond me.
Yeah, especially if one like this. This movie's probably got 100 different releases over the years.
I used to care more about that. I mean, well, now I would care to know that it was AI. I don't really want to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. But I mean,
I got no beef with it as long as it doesn't change what the movie is. If they use AI to like go in there and retract shit and change scenes and all that, now I got a problem. But if they're just using it to kind of touch it up, make it look okay, I don't like it, but I can deal with that. They didn't change. They didn't narratively change what the story was with it. It just looks a little odd in my mind.
Yeah.
But, I guess. Look, if you want it as close to that as you're going to get, go pop in the VHS. It's, I'm sure you can find it. I wouldn't think it'd be that hard.
I have it on.
There
I think
you
I
go.
had the very first VHS release of it.
There you go. I wonder if this got.
Oh no, I take that back. The first VHS was magnetic video. I do not. I wish I had the magnetic video, but I don't. I
I
don't believe I
have
have
the
that.
first movie on CED. I wonder if this one got released on CED because that was probably the dying embers of CED by '86 or '87, I
Yeah.
guess. So
Oh yeah,
not
never mind. The magnetic video I was talking about was Alien from 1979.
yeah, I've got that.
That
one
was
on
the
CD,
magnetic
yeah,
video.
yeah.
So,
But anyways, yeah. Speaking of old times, she wakes up 57 years later. Now I almost thought you were going to get a bullshit moment here with that because like she wakes up and then it's a dream. Like she wakes up and it's like it's been 57 years or whatever, and then she wakes up from that, and that was a dream. But then it was 57 years because she has the dream that she's being attacked by the aliens.
the dream.
Whatever.
Yeah, the alien.
Yeah.
Just busting.
So apparently
stuff.
the 57 years part was not a dream. Like it actually is. You're like, how the fuck? But like in this, I guess there is some real science there, right? Like if you were actually traveling these far distances, that's the way you would have to do it, right? They'd have to put you in like cryostasis or whatever to.
Yeah, if that was a thing,
If
they would do it that way. The cryostasis. If they could find out and make that, then they would probably do that to keep you from. Because I mean, some of you talk about light years, you're talking about like 100 years maybe to get from a certain part of the universe to another part or whatever.
Yeah, it would take you too long. Like you would die.
Yeah.
If you didn't do it, you would just die before you got there because it would take too long.
Mr. Projectionist, stop the show. Here's great news you ought to know. We've just got a shipment of taste-thrilled treats, all tip-top quality and delicious eats. There are hot dogs and popcorn and candy galore. There's soft drinks and coffee and a whole lot more. So direct your steps to our refreshment stand to enjoy the finest snacks in all the land.
What'd you think of when you're introduced to Bishop and the knife trick, Donnie?
That was awesome.
Apparently they really did that too. Like, I'm guessing they must have sped it up or something, but apparently there was some real.
Yeah, I think when it got to the
there's some real aspect of that because apparently Bill Paxton didn't. What I read, sometimes you read whether it's true or not, I don't know, but apparently he didn't realize they were going to do that until they were doing it. And
what I read was that Lance Henriksen, they were supposed to only be Lance Henriksen doing it, and he's the one that said, "Hey, maybe I should take Bill Paxton's hand and put it on top of mine and do it and make it more dramatic."
Well, Bill Paxton apparently got his finger nicked on that when they did that. So, but still, it's a cool scene and everything. So it kind of, and it also like I don't remember whether they told you he's an android yet or not, right? And that before he did it, or I don't remember the timing of that. Do you know he's an android?
That was what let Ripley know that it was an android, I believe, right?
And then
that scene.
And then she's instantly like, "Get this motherfucker away from me," because the first movie, that went so well, right? So, Newt and her. I mean, she has a pretty big role here, right? I mean, like, I'd say, other than just the natural scares of being chased around by these alien things, right? These fucking acid bleeding aliens. One of the most tension filled parts of this movie is the fact that she's there. If you have a heart for children, like you're like, oh fuck, nothing could happen to this little girl, right? And of course they put her in harm's way 8 times.
She always gets in. Yeah, definitely. Like from the face huggers scene to the scene of the alien in the water and everything. Yeah, just a whole bunch of scenes of her being in peril, right?
Yeah, when she finally gets nabbed by the aliens. And by the way, she's like the only human that doesn't instantly get murdered by these aliens.
Yeah.
But they do make it make sense in the context of like these aren't like mindless aliens. These aliens know what the fuck. Because I think there's a line by one of them, maybe Hudson or something, where like, these things, they're not like people, they're animals. No, this is an intelligent life form. They don't just kind of blindly run at things. Like, these things are smart. Like when the one helicopter goes up and one of the aliens goes in there and takes the helicopter down.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just like mindless animal shit. This is like, they're thinking shit through
like strategy and.
Yeah, they have strategy here. So it's not like just, mindless beasts, alien beasts,
like the scene in the roof. In the roof tiles or whatever. You know,
we're barricaded in here. There's no way they can get in here. How do we forget a spot? But they forgot the fucking roof. Apparently has like a false ceiling or something, and then just. I love that too, though. When they're like,
"Oh yeah, that's an awesome."
What the fuck is that? And then
yeah.
he pushes that thing up, and you just see them all.
They're all just like doing their thing through there.
Oh shit! And like you said, aliens, right? Like it's not just one or two. Like there's like 18 of them coming for their asses, you know, and that's and it leads to chaos. But yeah, that's some great shit. But Hudson, Bill Paxton's character, just being the comic relief. I mean, like he and I can't think of the actress's name, Vasquez. Other than Sigourney Weaver, like they're the standouts here, right? Like her just being like this muscle bound chick that's always got this unnecessary machine gun. Hudson just being like just a jackass, smart ass about everything, or just kind of a pussy about everything outright. But they really stand out in this movie.
And by the way, I can vouch for those scenes too. That like they got the military aspect down as far as them cutting each other up and down and all that stuff, you know, and like all that aspect of the camaraderie, even though they're like,
well, there's a reason for that. Apparently they got like some Vietnam vet to do training on, like everybody that apparently was going to be in the colonial, what do they call them? Colonial Army, whatever they're Marines.
The Colonial Marines. Yeah.
Whoever was going to be in that, they basically took them to the side and gave them like camaraderie training with like, you know, like they actually treated them differently than everyone else because they wanted them to like
have that military kind of mindset.
Yeah, but they also wanted all those actors to treat everyone else differently because like we're this group over here and fuck y'all, that kind of thing. So like they wanted that as a real thing. And apparently that became somewhat of an issue because the whole James Remar thing. He was there for that, but apparently Michael Biehn wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
So he gets fired, and then they bring him in, and like
they bring him in later. Yeah.
He's part of their group wearing Remar's shit, but he's not. He wasn't there.
He's not that
leading up to that kind of thing. So that there was a little bit of weirdness there, apparently. But yeah, so it's realistic in that regard. Like that's where they get it from. Like they actually, James Cameron or whatever, they took that extra moment to like train them that way to make it, I guess, as close as you could get to Space Marines, right? Like,
Speaking of that, while we're there. This movie, and before I get to mention, I'll probably mention it at the end when I do my rating for it too. But it's very influential to a lot of other movies, not just Italian ripoffs, because there was plenty of those, and non-Italian American ripoffs of Alien and all that stuff. But the Warhammer 40K, the Warhammer 40K came out the next year, 1987, and you can see direct correlations with the Space Marines and Warhammer versus the Colonial Marines, the alien, the xenomorphs. They call them xenomorphs and Warhammer and all that. There's a lot of correlations there. This movie was hugely influential, and you could probably say more influential even than Alien was.
Apparently, a lot of this was, I guess, some of that stuff was also based on that old novel Starship Troopers. You know, that got made into the shitty 1997 movie. But apparently, a lot of that was from that too. Like I think,
once again, that is another aspect of Warhammer 40K is the Starship Troopers. You can pretty much say Alien, Starship Troopers, and a couple of other things that made that. You know.
But like Hudson is his comic relief and is like, game over, man. You know, like just bitching about everything. So like, yeah, he's very memorable. Like I said, Vasquez, that was, I think her name was Jeanette Goldstein, by the way, that played Vasquez. That was the name. When they find the nest, I love that scene where like they walk in
the bodies, what the bodies are up in the ceiling,
just
or
the look of that set and everything, like just the design of it and everything. It's just fucking awesome. Like it's like going from like a spaceship or a space headquarters or wherever the hell they are to like inside of a weird wasp nest or something. Like you know, just the whole design of the room changes. But it just looks awesome. Apparently, there was some argument about how well they should light that too. James Cameron wanted it to be darker than it was. But everyone else involved was like, no, we need to see it. And then, So I guess
I'm sure that is probably a conundrum, for lack of a better word, for directors and special effects guys and all that. When you create this cool shit, you want it to be lit, but sometimes, I mean, for this it worked, but sometimes it's better not to. You know, maybe you have sparser lighting to make it more realistic looking or whatever. But I'm sure that's a bone of contention between directors, special effects guys, and all that stuff is the lighting on these things. But it worked fine, I think, for this, having it brightly, a little bit more brightly lit.
Now, I'll admit, I'm not completely caught up on the Alien franchise. Like, I haven't watched the last couple, 2 or 3. I haven't watched that new series and all this stuff, so I'm not completely caught up on the lore of all this shit. But it's clearly a pretty big theme, like in the first movie, obviously, and even in this one, where Burke, Paul Reiser's character, is like sabotaging them because they want these aliens.
Yeah.
So, and that happens in the first one, right? Remember the android?
Yeah. Which is why it has this the stigma against androids.
But like that's clearly a theme of this whole thing is like that little sub story in the background of like there's like this evil corporation, there's this company that wants these fucking things. But everybody else is like, no, you don't want this. What the hell is wrong with you? But they want it because I guess they want it for military applications, right? I'm sure they want to make weapons out of it, turn it into, like, I guess that's the whole thing. And I'm sure that is more fleshed out in the last couple movies that I haven't seen. I'm sure that's a bigger, like I said, the lore, the plot points and all that shit. I'm not caught up on that, but that's clearly a big theme in these movies.
Once you get beyond part 3, I've seen some of them once. I mean, most of them maybe at least once, but Aliens and Alien 3 are the ones I've seen the most amount of times, and I'm more familiar with stuff. Beyond that, I don't remember.
Yeah. And we'll get there as time goes on, right? Like we're always, we'll get deeper into the franchise, so we'll figure it all out as time goes on. But yeah, that's definitely clearly a clear thing here. There's some evil, faceless person or corporation behind this shit, really. It's like, they know this nasty race of aliens is out there and they want it for whatever reasons they want it. So every time, and Burke is that one in this movie because he sabotages them in the room with the face huggers and all that shit.
And the corporation he's working for, isn't it Weyland-Yutani?
That sounds right. I think it's Weyland-Yutani. I know it's Weyland is like the logo, the W or whatever. So I think it's Weyland-Yutani. Yeah.
And there's some connection. Spoiler alert here for anybody who's going to watch, this or hopefully. I don't know if we mentioned spoiler word. I think we did, but anyways.
We have, yeah.
What was the Predator, the new Predator movie? There's also, we haven't seen that, but there was apparently a Weyland-Yutani connection there, too,
there's the obvious connection for years now with that because they did have the 2 crossover movies, Alien
versus Predator movies.
Yeah, the Requiem or whatever it was called.
But yeah, there's another crossover apparently, but like I said, I haven't seen that one. So
and the Aliens TV show.
There's that.
The Weyland-Yutani's in there. Okay,
I've heard that too. Like I said, I'm behind, so I need to catch up.
I'm guessing they're doing this for a reason in the future. There's going to be another crossing over or something.
Again, yes.
And there was throughout this franchise, there was huge chunks of time where they didn't make anything. Like I said, there was 7 years between the first movie and then this one.
Yeah.
And then it was 6 years before Alien 3 because that came out in 92.
92, yeah.
And then the fourth part, Alien Resurrection, came out in 97. And then if you're just going strictly Alien movies, they didn't make another, if you don't count the Alien versus Predator crossover movies, they didn't make another one between 97 to 2012 when they made Prometheus.
Yeah.
And I don't think that one's very obviously an Alien movie.
No, that's not. It's a very early, it's a prequel that's really only has a couple of connective tissue things with Alien.
So for something as popular as this franchise, it kind of took huge chunks of time where there was nothing, and then all of a sudden, since Prometheus came out in 2012, there's been a bunch of shit. Like you got Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Alien Romulus. Those are the last 3 movies, and then you've got a lot of little short films and weird, like not weird, but like little web exclusive type stuff that ties into it, like ties into the lore. Now you've got that TV series, Alien Earth, that came out last year. There's another web series. There's games. Video games and stuff that like actually play into the lore.
That link to the story,
into the story.
Canonical.
So really, you could argue since like say 2012, like it's went from like every 5 or 6 years to all of a sudden like bam, there's just. And I'm assuming that probably has something to do with Disney taking over Fox and all that shit, but
probably yeah. Well, yeah, that's probably I bet that's what all this build up is.
Just go from here.
Now
to
that
here.
On both franchises, they're going to put them together.
Yeah,
again.
Exactly. Ripley fight, a little bit later, like after there's a number of, Newt and Ripley fight with the face huggers, they save them. And then there's another attack from the ceiling we talked about. But after that, Newt is taken. And then Ripley goes on like kind of a 1-woman mission to go find her. She finds her with the queen, like in the queen's lair, and the queen is laying eggs. So then you get that shot of the room with holy shit, there's hundreds of
Yeah,
eggs or
yeah.
whatever it is, and then there's this big thing out of her butt or whatever the hell it's like, just plopping eggs out, just one after another.
A sack is made, this tube sack thing.
But
yeah.
you got that cool dramatic shot of like it goes down the tube and you see an egg, and then you see all the eggs, and then it kind of slowly pans back up, and then you see the fucking queen like just sitting there, and then she kind of threatens it like I'm gonna fucking, and then she kind of waves. Did you notice she kind of waves off the other troops, the other aliens, like no.
Oh yeah,
I got this. Yeah.
yeah.
They
And
just
then they kind of back up in the hallway.
They just kind of slink back up into the shadows. But then, of course, Ripley turns her, fire her flamethrower on them and starts shooting them and everything. So she just lays waste to all the eggs, or most of them at least. And then they get the fuck out. Like, there's this whole dramatic scene with the elevator, which I think it's a cool little scene, but it's kind of corny with but it also proves the intelligence of the aliens, right? Or at least the queen. Like,
oh yeah,
she looks at the elevator and is like, and then gets on the other elevator and comes up. It's a little corny, but still, at least it shows that they're smart, at least. They barely escape the explosion because meanwhile, all this shit is going down. Like, the planet's about to fucking explode, right? Or this little base they're on, because there's this thermonuclear engine that's about to fucking blow. So the whole last 30 minutes is just a countdown to this finally happening. So of course they barely get on the plane, escape as it blows. And, of course, you think it's over, but the fucking queen is on the ship. And that's when, Bishop, I did good, didn't I? Yeah, you did good, Bishop. And then just fucking, the queen just rams its tail through him.
Impales him with her tail. And
lifts him up in the air and just rips him in half, which it's a really cool fucking scene, but how much cooler it would have been if it was a real person instead of an android. That would have been, you would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah, when gory as shit. They had to cut that down for the R rating probably and then put it out unrated.
Yeah.
That would have been badass.
I mean, it was still badass as it was, but if that was a person, it would have been like, oh my God, because it just picks it up and just, and then white, creamy viscera everywhere instead of blood. It's just goo.
Android goo.
Yeah, android goo everywhere. But of course, even that, there's a few false endings in there, right? Like, you're like, holy shit, it's finally gone, and then Ripley has to go into the next room and put on that exosuit. I have a feeling like they had this thing and they just wanted, we got to figure out a way to get her in this thing and do this. So there had to be a few false endings to get to that moment, so where she gets back in that suit and then,
and then of course they have the lead in earlier, right? Where she gets the loader. Where do you want me to put this?
So she knows how to use it.
Yeah. Again, that's the kind of stuff that I really appreciate about these movies versus modern movies is they don't care so much in modern movies to give you that background information on how come this person knows how to do this or that thing. They just get to it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I mean, I appreciate that about older movies where they establish that, okay, this makes more sense now that even if whatever, I mean, story, it just shows they care enough about it to establish that.
Well, she takes out the queen with the exosuit by kind of wrestling with it and gets it down into a little airlock kind of hatch, and then hits the button, and then it gets sucked out into the vacuum of space, and she climbs to safety, and then that basically in the end you've got what's his name, Hicks, Michael Bihn's character, right? He's injured, but he's still alive. Ripley and Newt are still alive, and then of course whatever's left of Bishop, right? He's an android, so he's ripped up, but technically I guess he still exists. And they put them all in cryo sleep and then close the hatch and credits. That's literally how the movie ends. They survived it and away they go. So that's the end. So it's definitely I think it's good if you just took it as a standalone movie, it's definitely a great sequel to the first one. As a standalone movie, it's pretty damn good as well. Yeah. Although the ending is just there to set up another one eventually. And it did take them 6 years to make it, but still, you can tell it kind of ended the way the first one did in the sense of it leaves it open for more. You know, obviously. So, and they did, and here we are. But so there you go. Aliens.
And then when you get to 3, we won't talk about it here because we're not spoiling the third one, but I'm sure we'll do the third one at some point on the show. but it kind of takes off where this one ended.
Mhm.
But then you get this disappointment. I won't mention what that is here. We'll get that, then we'll get the 3. But you're like, the beginning of part 3, you're like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, the situation.
There's
The
the
situation changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Aliens or Alien 2, however you want to say it. Electric Boogaloo. The Legend of Curly's Gold. All right, Donnie, you brought it to the table. What's your final thoughts and what's your star rating on this one?
Oh man, this movie's awesome. The runtime was a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but the pacing is on point.
Especially if you watch the other version. It was probably 2.5
That's
hours
even
long.
long. Yeah, you watched it even longer.
Yeah.
By the way,
yeah,
before,
I did. Yeah.
By the way, before you continue, I will say the first Alien movie, that's one of our few all 5s across the board movies. We all gave it 5 stars. So continue.
Yeah. So, pacing is on point. The effects are awesome. And they still hold up minus, some of the blue screen stuff. But it's action packed. It really just has it all. I cannot give it any less than 5.
All right, Smoke, what do you say?
Yeah, like you said before, we gave Alien 5 across the board. And you'll hear a lot of people compare the two, as you would. They're sequels, right? But to me, they're totally different movies. I mean, completely different.
Yeah.
The only thing connecting them is the fact that there are these the first one is one alien, and this one there's multiple aliens, and they're the same type of xenomorph, right? So, and you got Ripley, but I mean, other than that, everything is totally different. The first one is more horror. It's like Tiana said, it's atmospheric. I mean, not that the second one's not atmospheric in a certain way, but they don't really. The atmosphere has been established. They don't need to build up tension that way anymore. They just full on action, from beginning to end. I mean, there's still tense moments, usually dealing with Newt and her situation she's put in, and some other ones like we mentioned with the aliens, where they come through the false roof and they're like in their room, like, oh holy shit, they're close, they're 10 meters away. Wait, this can't be right. They're 5 meters. That would put them in the room, and then they realize they're in the roof. Those types of situations, right? That are horror movie aspects, right? But for the most part, it's just balls to the wall action, right? For me, I can't really compare the two that way. Some people say, well, I love the first one. It's just better. It's a much better movie because it's claustrophobic and more horror oriented. Well, I mean, I just don't grade them the same that way, as far as I can't really put them in that same category because they're two totally different genres to me. But I'm going to give this one a 5 as well. Same rating as I gave the first movie, but for totally different reasons. This is just the perfect action sci-fi movie, and the first one was the perfect action horror movie. I mean, sorry, sci-fi horror movie.
Yeah, it's like I said at the beginning. It's almost like you can say that one is horror sci-fi and this one's sci-fi horror. In my opinion.
Yeah, but it's got that action is front and center though. Even more so, I'd almost put action before anything else on. Well, it's sci-fi because it's outer space and it's the future. So really, that would have to come first. But then you have action. Whereas to me, the first one is sci-fi and then horror because of that atmospheric, claustrophobic. One alien versus the rest of the crew, and there's nowhere they can go because, like I said, they're in space. They can't just, leave the ship altogether.
It's probably a good time to mention too that I saw something about Ridley Scott. He made the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he would have been down to do this one, but they never really asked him. So who knows?
Huh.
We'll never know.
I guess just because James Cameron's he was just in the stratosphere by the time Terminator and all that.
Well, but I think they were trying to go cheaper.
He was busy making Legend.
Yeah,
he was making Legend. Yeah.
I think that was something to do with maybe not necessarily Legend, but like Ridley Scott. You're talking about him, right? Ridley Scott made Legend.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. But I think there was something about that. Maybe they thought he was kind of too busy to do it. So
to give attention to it.
Yeah, but they just never really approached him with it. So they went in that James Cameron direction because of the other shit I mentioned. Yeah. But yeah, it would have been interesting to see him come back to it.
Yeah, it probably would have been more horror again, or more atmospheric than action. Yeah.
Because James Cameron was known for that. I mean, that's
yeah.
And by the way, have we done any Terminators on the show at all?
No.
I guess we haven't. No.
I'm sure.
I'll just let this out the bag before. I won't give a rating for those, but I'll say I do compare those two together, even though they were different. They're the same director, at least. James Cameron. One is more. I don't know. Like Terminator is my favorite of those two, and not that I don't like Terminator 2. It's just I like that I don't know why. I don't know how to. Maybe it's
That-
just 1984. Maybe it's just because it's
yeah, I was about to say,
1984.
that's a tough one. That's a tough one there. That's Sophie's choice because
is.
to me, I like
Yeah.
just knee jerk right this minute. I'll say T2's better, but I might need
Yeah.
to go watch them again. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with you that T2 is a better made film, but for me, which one do I like best? And that this has been years of mulling over. Which one? Yeah. I can see that the second one is a better film technically and all that stuff, but which one hits me harder the most or whatever? It's the first one.
Because we all love
I don't know if
Terminator
I'm-
3 the most. That's why you're saying that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
So
The Rise of the Machines.
Tiana, what'd you say your final? I'm sorry, we kind of interrupted you there. Did you say your final rating on it, or did we even ask you?
No, we haven't
Yeah.
got it. No,
I'm
not
sorry.
yet.
Yeah. Tiana, go
But
ahead.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, this one's not completely different, but a different type of way to do it. And I really enjoy it. And the cast of characters, they're like perfect for this flick or whatever. But what always has made me enjoy these movies, and they probably want to even look good, is H.R. Giger's artwork.
Hmm.
They used for, the aliens themselves and just the ships and everything else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this one's definitely a 5.
That goes into what I was saying a minute ago about like the when they kind of go into the nest.
Yes.
And you see all the bodies and everything. Like that's what it reminds me of. That's exactly it. That artwork and
Giger.
yeah, that weird kind of, I don't know, alien grotesque kind of look to it, but it's still got like that. I don't know. It's got a look that you know it when you see it. I don't know how to describe it. It's
Yeah.
weird. But yeah. Man, I tell you what, 5 is a hard one to get for me, but I'm going to give it because I think, like Smoke said, for different reasons, I like both these movies
Mhm.
kind of almost equally, but it's tough to compare the two because they're so different in so many ways.
Yeah.
They're so similar, but so different. It's weird, but it works. It works. Yeah. I think I'm going to go 5. So that's 5 across the board. One of these days we might get Willie's input on this one, cause I'm sure this is one he's seen. So maybe I'll ask him, see if he wants to throw his 5 in the hat. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. For now.
And I don't fault anybody either for liking one or the other over. Like some people say, well, no, the first one's definitely better than the second one. Other people, no, the second one's definitely. I can see both sides of that, and that's why I can't really give a different rating to either.
Yeah. And look, I just gave it a 5, and I totally agree. I still think if I had like one of them had to go, I still think I'd pick the first one over this one. That's just
yeah. I mean, I'm probably there with
like
you too.
if one of these
can't
movies
give it a
had,
less rating.
if you had to hit the delete button and you could never see either one of these two movies had to go and you never see it again, I think I'd pick the first one to stay. That's just my opinion. But
yeah, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you there because I very much prefer those claustrophobic horror atmospheric type movies, anyways. But that's not to deter from the second one, which is why I couldn't give it less than a 5.
This one works in every way you need it to work. So it's kind of 80s action peak, really.
Yeah.
As far as it's got all those elements and it just gives you everything you want. So there you go. Aliens, nice pull there, Donnie.
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't have picked it. I mean, I picked Demons too, but hey, whatever. No, that's a good one. It's a good one. That was last week. We'll be talking about next week here in just a second. But we got to close up shop here. So, Donnie, what kind of connections did you find?
Connections from the crypt.
You didn't actually steal my thunder a little bit, but well, I mean, yeah, it's probably not too much of a stretch to, even though this did have quite a big cast. On the cast side, we've got Lance Henriksen, who played Bishop, the android. He was in Hellraiser, Hellworld, and Near Dark when we covered that back in the Psyche summer.
I couldn't let the Hellraiser, Hellworld thing go. I had to mention that, even if I wasn't sure if you would mention it, so I had to mention it.
No, yeah, it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
So we both had to do it, and now our listeners are suffering.
Oh yeah, well they checked out like 30 minutes ago. Let's face it. So go ahead.
Yeah, on the crew side, this is kind of kind of runs the gamut of Spook Show episodes and in various ways. But we've got makeup effects artist Tony Gardner, who was also on the makeup effects crew for these movies. The Return of the Living Dead, we did that
All right.
very early on. Josh's favorite, Freddy Got Fingered.
No.
Freddy Krueger got fingered? No.
Yeah. That would have been a more entertaining movie.
Then you got Evil Dead 2. Deanna's favorite, The Lost Boys.
Ah.
Yeah.
Smoke's favorite, movie 43.
Oh, the old movie 43.
Yeah. Also, one of Josh's favorites, Rockula.
I would say I'd rather watch Rockula than a couple of those other ones you just mentioned.
Yeah. And finally, Army of Darkness. So Tony Gardner, makeup effects artist, is
like you said, that's from the mountaintop to the to the gutters.
Yeah. So he's one of the most connected or connected crew members that we have on the Spook Show.
So one would almost think that we just go through this dude's filmography and say, this is the movie we're talking about this week.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe that's where I get all my ideas. I don't know. Tiana, what kind of kill count did you come up with for this one?
Well, this original theater version has 15 kills, and the extended one has 19.
Ah, get a little bit more. Well, it was like we mentioned earlier. It was about her family before, like the colonists.
Yeah, the colonists on the planet, probably.
So that's probably where your four more bodies come from there. Let's talk about the kill reel.
Highlight kill.
I want to say Bishop, but can we count that?
Yeah, I know, because he's a robot.
He's a robot, but it's just so damn good.
Yeah.
You know, fuck it. We make the rules. I'm going with Bishop.
Yeah.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if Bishop pops back up later on in this franchise, does he? Like, I mean, I know.
Yeah, I thought he did.
Does he?
I thought
Is he in the next one? I don't remember.
Is he in part 3?
I have to go back and look. But yeah, well, either way,
Yeah.
like, I think I'm going to go with it just because it's the coolest death for sure. Because, or at least scene, at least because they're not going to show. All the other ones are kind of like they just kind of get taken out in the dark or choked or like Burke would have been a pretty good one if they showed it. You just see like that piece of shit coward running.
Yeah,
right? And then, he kind of gets cornered up, and then they like it's coming toward him. That's really all you see. So like,
unfortunately, that's kind of anticlimactic for him. They should have shown his death because he's a weaselly bastard.
Yeah,
that
like
you kind of you want to see.
You want this fucker to die, and like you see it, but you don't really see it. So yeah, it's kind of unsatisfying. But yeah, I'm going to go with Bishop. So Smoke, that leads us with you with the gore score.
Gore score.
And before I go into that, do you have in front of you, or can you pull it up easy? What I gave Alien, the first one.
I have it right here. You gave that one a 7.
7? Okay. So yeah, this one, as we said, the first one's a bit more horror oriented, but does it have any more gore? I don't know. There's not that many gory set pieces in this movie. In the first movie, you have that awesome chest busting scene, the best of probably any of the Alien movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the whole setup, the cinematography in that, and the way it was shot and edited.
And we didn't mention it, but you do get that again.
Yeah, you get it again. I just don't think
I think it was the dream sequence or something.
Yes, the dream sequence at the beginning. So you kind of get it. It's just not as.
One of the people.
One of the people too. Yeah, busts out in the nest or whatever.
Yeah,
but again, it's not as. I think it's really just the editing on that. The way that it's the first time you see it in the Alien franchise, and it's just iconic the way it was shot and edited, really, and the special effects. I think there's more blood in the first one than there is in any of the other chest busting ones that I can think of. Like I said, I haven't seen after part 3. I haven't seen them as much, so I don't. We'll get to those when we get to them as far as the gore score on those later ones too. But I think I'll go with the I'll go with a 7 on this one too, because I don't think it's any more gorier, but there's more deaths. But is there like a lot of gore per se? In
There
those
is
deaths?
there is more deaths too. By the way, our official kill count on the first one was 7.
Yeah, because there's not as many people on the ship as there is in this colony. So
yeah.
But I mean, but that being said, like I said, there's not any more gorier deaths, than there was in the first movie. So
now
I'll go with
you
7.
take that 7 and make it like at least a 9 if Bishop had been a man.
Yeah, it's blood and entrails everywhere.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, that's like a 9 then.
It's weird too, isn't it? Weird that it's like it's a robot and it's white blood, if you will, or whatever. So you don't really. It's not as visceral. It's visceral because of the way that what happens to him, but because he's not human, and in your head he's not human, it's not as impacting to you. So,
pretty good effects on that too. Not just the ripping, but like when he's in half, and
and he hits the floor.
His upper body is still moving around, like catching Newt and everything. Like there's some cool effects going on there.
I get that. That takes a lot of talent to do that, because you see the cheap end of that when somebody doesn't have either the talent or the money to do it right. Like you see it in decapitation. Somebody's head gets decapitated, and it's a very fake head that hits the floor, and then they cut to the next scene, and it's a real person's body under the floor, and their head sticking out from the floorboard, and they're like whatever, So it takes a lot of talent and to in the editing department and in the effects department to pull that off and not have it look fake.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We're going to leave it there. So 5, I think that should go without saying. We highly recommend you go check. You don't need to go check this out. You need to go buy it. You need to own a copy of this movie. Go buy it.
Yeah.
I don't know who of you out there have never seen Aliens, but if you haven't, definitely go check this out.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yeah, if for some reason you watched the first one and never got around to any other ones, what the fuck? Go watch this one at least. We'll see as we go along. It's like anything; it's a law of diminishing returns a little bit. This franchise, to me, has always held up pretty well, though. There's not a lot.
Yeah,
it's
not
really
like some.
shitty
There's
ones,
some many worse ones.
Yeah. It doesn't go
like Hellraiser.
It never went
Hellraiser comes up.
Yeah, it never went Hellraiser on us or anything. So.
Although they did go to outer space in Hellraiser, right?
Yeah. Well, at least this one already started out in space. They didn't have to go like aliens in space are already there, so they didn't have to take us there.
I think in one of the Aliens movies they go to hell or something. No.
Yeah. Well, actually, they went the reverse on us. That show was called Alien Earth, so they got us in the end. They went the reverse. They came back here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough. So next month. Well, I guess. Well, no, it's not next month. What the fuck am I talking about? Next week. Tiana, it was your pick for 1986. So we're going in a whole different kind of direction here with this one.
We're going in a dark direction.
Yeah, we're not in space. It's dark like space, but this is dark for other reasons. This ain't space. Where are we going?
We're gonna watch Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
And it's kind of odd that it has taken us this long to get to this one. I know it's come up at some point or another, but yeah,
all right.
We haven't watched it, so now it's finally upon us. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. So that'll be next week, and then Smoke, it'll be your pick, and we'll let you know what that's going to be next week. But yeah, we got a couple more, well, at least a few more here on the podcast for the 40 years of 1986 little mini series we're doing this month, and we've also got 2 selections over on YouTube with Grindhouse Gutter and Video Vortex. So you want to go check those out. So you can do that by going to aaspookshow.com for that, and Hammer Horror in Order, of course, even though that obviously doesn't have anything to do with 1986. Hammer was pretty much dead by 1986, so there's no connection there. But we encourage you to go to the YouTube channel, check those out. Also go over to patreon.com/aaspookshow, become a patron of the Spook Show, get the episodes early, other archive materials and all that jazz over there. Lots of cool stuff to check out over on our Patreon. Go to our TeePublic page to get merchandise. New episodes of the podcast come out every Monday at 6 p.m. East, wherever you get your podcast, or on the YouTube channel as well. So for Donnie, Tiana, Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All-American Spook Show, and we continue our adventures through 1986 next week.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over. What the fuck are we going to do now?
Oh, no. We're screwed, man.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.